So I have been a journalist for almost 30 years. I started my career working at Fortune magazine in New York, and then I have been a contributor at Vanity Fair since 2008. And I've written, 5 books. So Steve, Bruce, and I had a wide-ranging conversation yesterday. Part of it was about current conditions in the market and what the world looks like. And I described President Trump as chaos incarnate, which I think actually is a pretty apt descriptor of him. And we talked about the incredible uncertainty facing the business community and the markets right now. I pointed out that the world has always actually been very uncertain, and many of the big things that have happened in markets over the last 30 years, from the collapse of Enron to the global financial crisis to the pandemic, were things that we did not see coming. So one of my favorite lessons is what we all learned in kindergarten, which is use your imagination. Anything can happen. You don't think it can, but the world is always more uncertain than it seems. Well, I think one big lesson that both Enron and the global financial crisis taught us that is still relevant today is that anything can happen. And the world is often quite a bit more random and chaotic than it may appear on the surface, and that even the experts don't necessarily see the big things coming. If you think back to Enron, almost every analyst who covered the stock had a buy rating on it before the company imploded. If you think about the global financial crisis, leaders from Ben Bernanke to Hank Paulson said, "This is contained. This isn't going to be a problem." And of course, it turned out to be a mammoth problem. So I think that's one big lesson. I think another, perhaps more philosophical lesson is that skepticism is always warranted. The story on the surface is not always the real story. And so you have to do some digging in order to figure out what's actually going on. And the business world can be very confusing in that way because everybody gets rich when things go up. So the incentive for people to point out problems and to see the chaos lurking around the horizon is not always there. I don't think anyone knows the answers to AI yet, and I think a lot of what happens is both a question of innovation that is still to come, and also a question of what the government chooses to do. But I think some of the lessons we learned from the destabilizing events over the past couple of decades are that we do need to figure out how to protect people whose jobs may be impacted by AI, because it's not great for society overall if wide swaths of the workforce find themselves without employment. I think alternative investment firms need to have, obviously, an eye on what's happening in Washington, and what rules and regulations are coming down the pike, and what events in their industry that are not necessarily directly caused by them, but may precipitate change across the industry. For instance, should there be a blow-up in private credit, even those firms that did not cause the blow-up will be dramatically impacted by that. As more and more private equity firms push into selling products to individual investors, there's the potential for reputational damage that could extend across the industry and cause the hammer of the government to come down on them in unexpected ways. So I think those are a few of the obvious risks. Add to that the somewhat, not sure if precarious is the right word, but the uncertain does the U.S. maintain its preeminent place in the global financial system, or is that something that's at risk of change as well? So it's one of the things that makes finance so endlessly interesting, is that it sits at the intersection of business and politics and these large societal movements.